Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome to another Telly Talks. Today we're talking about this month's goal. So today's topic is some of the goals that I anticipate on planning and having this month. So I did write it down in my journal because I do like to journal things and I like to manifest it and just see it and put it, pen to paper, so that way you can kind of look over it and make adjusted changes if necessary. So I kind of like to write my stuff down just to know what I'm getting myself into. And so I wrote down, some of the goals that I had for this month and some of the changes that I wanted to make from last month. So I'll just kind of get into a little bit what I did last month and what I'll be trying to change this month. So let's get into it. So last month I switched it up a little bit. I did start incorporating eating other stuff than fish. I started eating more chicken. I even had a hamburger at one point. I even had steak, and I'm not even a steak person. But I decided to not restrict myself because it's important. Sometimes you need that extra protein, if you will, in your body. And it was good to eat it, but I wouldn't recommend eating it all the time. So I'm glad I was able to indulge in it. What else I did? I had some alcoholic beverages, which I almost decided, after my birthday, I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna give alcohol up for the rest of my life. But I never been that much like of a drinker anyway. But to be able to go out and just have a wine on the side or have a margarita on the side, something chill, something light, nothing too heavy, it was cool to just do that, Never again do I want to overindulge when it comes to alcohol because I know I'm lightweight and I can get pretty wasted really fast, and that's not the goal. We have body goals, and I always tell people I'd rather eat my calories than drink them. So just being transparent, I did do a little bit of that. I ate junk food, this month I was like, you know what, I'm going to incorporate a cheat meal in my diet, and that's what I did, and it felt great. But at the same time, I decided to go back to my pescatarian diet because the pescatarian diet is where it's at. Like if you don't see a change after eating pescatarian at least for a month, then something ain't right. So when I eat pescatarian, meaning fish and seafood, I'm going to the bathroom at least twice a day. And for a typical person, we don't really go to the bathroom that often. Why? Because we're consuming all this junk, or we're consuming these meats that take a while to digest in our system. So pescatarian diet is where it's at. If you don't want to be a vegan or a vegetarian, I'm telling you, pescatarian, thank me later. But anyway, I'm incorporating that back into my diet because it really worked for me, and I definitely felt lighter. I didn't feel sluggish. I didn't feel like, sometimes when you eat certain foods, like certain meats or whatever, you feel kind of sluggish afterwards. I didn't get that feeling after eating fish, a white meat, something that's light, but also pack a whole lot of protein and omega-3. So definitely want to put that back in my diet and take out the chicken, the steak, and the burgers, the red meat and stuff like that. I definitely want to take that out because that is not something ideal I want to do often. Every now and again, yes, go to a cookout, get a burger, get a hot dog, but that's nothing I would consider to be a lifestyle type of move for me personally. So bringing that back, what else did I do? Oh, another thing that I decided to do, I was watching this YouTube video and they were talking about like fitness and weight loss and this and that and the third. And it was MyFitnessPal. My coworker had told me about it previously a long time ago, but I never I just never could wrap my head around like why am I counting my calories. But now that I've used it, I realize counting your calories is kind of important because you can either be under eating or overeating, and most of that, if you're trying to lose weight, those are contributing factors. You either eating too less or eating too much. And I think for me, I might have been under eating. It might have been days, I ain't gonna lie, especially when I was going ham on the junk. It probably been days where I overeated, but most time I feel like I was under eating, and that's probably why I wasn't seeing really much of a change in my body. Because when sometimes your body needs a certain amount of calorie intake in order for it to start, your body think is starving, so it's gonna save all this. The food that you ate, it's going to save that and try to basically store it. And that's where the fat, the stubborn fat, and it's hard for you to really lose weight because your body thinks that it's not going to eat for a certain period of time. So it stores the fat instead of burning the fat. So your body definitely needs a certain amount of calories to either lose weight, maintain weight, or even gain weight. So my goal I put on the FitnessPal was to lose, even though I really feel like I don't want to really lose. I like my shape. I just want to lose body fat percentage. But you can't really pick and choose which area to lose, because when you lose weight, you ultimately lose weight everywhere. So you can't spot train. You can't, even if I like bang out my abs for a whole month consistently, you can't spot train. And that's the unfortunate part, because if you start losing weight, you lose weight everywhere, and it usually starts from top to bottom. So what I did do was just use the calorie counter as a way to track my calories and to way to see like just exactly what I was eating and how much I was eating. And sometimes I fell below the calorie intake amounts that I was supposed to get throughout the day, and sometimes I did a little bit too much. So that was just a good way to really see it. That's why I say about putting stuff on paper, because when you think about it, you don't really put it into perspective until you actually can look at it. So this is a good way to really put that into perspective, because I can now see it and say, wow, okay, I'm doing good in this area, I need to work on this area. So that was a good app to use. I only did the 30-day trial, and now I'm at a point where I can gauge and kind of play with it. Now that I've been doing it for about 30 days, I can kind of, get an idea what works or what I need to stop doing. Or because the calorie counter, it tells you how much protein you need, tell you about your macros. It tells you, it has the number of sugars you should be consuming throughout the day, how much fat you should be consuming throughout the day. So it really gives you an in-depth version of what you should be consuming, and it will let you know, because we're just picking up stuff and eating it and just not really being mindful of what we're putting in our mouth. It will definitely tell you. You scan it because it has a barcode. It has a barcode, or you can scan your meal, and if you scan your meal with the barcode, it usually tell you, okay, it'll give you a list, it'll subtract, okay. If this candy bar was 130 calories, it's going to take away whatever your calorie intake is for that day. It's going to minus this 130 candy bar, and that's how much you have left to work with throughout the day. So if you go above your sugars, or if you go over your fat, it will definitely say hey, you were supposed to be at this certain goal, don't go over this fat percentage. It will let you know. It really will put you in place. So it was a good app to use, and I definitely will recommend if anybody is you don't really care to count your calories, but you also want to make sure that you're intaking the right amount of calories for your body to maintain your body weight or to even lose weight. you definitely want to give this a try, because I didn't know I was supposed to consume, especially, you know, me training 5 days a week. I didn't know I was supposed to eat this much, and I was just like, whoa, sometimes I'll be eating and I'm just like plugging in the numbers and like, dang, I still gotta eat more. So sometimes it was just a little bit overwhelming. I ain't gonna front. You know, having to be able to eat the necessary proteins and fats and calories, period. It was just a lot of eating, and sometimes it would get overwhelming because I wasn't used to just eating this much. But as my body got adjusted to it, I started to actually like crave the amount of calories my body was supposed to intake, especially with the training, because this is the thing. If, say, your calorie intake for that day is 1,200, it was 1,200 is not mine, by the way. But we're gonna use that for an example. 1,200 is your calories. You have the intake for the amount of daily exercise that you do or whatever you do throughout your day. And then say you get on the treadmill for about 15 minutes and you burn 150 calories. So now it's 1,200 minus it's 1,200 plus the 150. So that's another thing. With the cardio, it adds to your calorie count. So essentially, whatever you burned on a treadmill, on an elliptical, anything cardio based, you get that back. So that's added to your calorie intake. And whereas weight training, they didn't have a way to track how much you was burning. So I kind of left that alone, even though I feel like if it did tell me, if it did tell me that I had burned this much doing maybe squats or whatever, I'm sure I would probably be eating way more than what I was eating. But unfortunately, the app doesn't tell you about like weight training or resistance training. It only tell you about the cardio portion. So I just kind of like, if I did go over a few times, I'm like, I'm sure I made it up in my weight training. So I didn't feel too guilty, but I just wanted to, at least hit it as close as possible. And I think I did my best. I'll try to insert a video here just to give you an idea of some of the days that I did good, some of the days I was a little bit off. Because with the negatives, you see the negatives, it will say like -9 protein. That means not over 8, too many proteins. But again, because I was weight training, essentially it made up for it. So I still didn't feel that bad. So anyway, other than that, incorporating the cheat meals, training for 5 days a week, using MyFitnessPal. Now that it's a new month, I'm going to switch up a few things. Some stuff I'm going to get rid of. Some stuff I'm just going to tweak it a little bit. So as far as training, how many days I decided to train, the 5 days was good. It was very productive. I felt like, wow, I'm really going to the gym. Like, it literally felt like a job. Like, I was going to the gym, I was hurting the next day, but I was like, this is what I gotta do. This is my job. So I'm going to scale it back just for the sake of my little full body. Still go hard, if not harder, but at the same time, just reduce the amount of days that I'm in the gym. Just to be more active outside of the gym. I don't feel like that me reducing the amount of days I'm going to actually be in the gym is going to stop productivity as far as my activity level. I can still do like playing basketball, shooting around, go hiking, do other outside stuff, walking, running, but it doesn't necessarily have to be in the gym. So that's why I am bringing my training days back to 4 days a week as opposed to 5. And then, of course, I already mentioned pescatarian diet, fish and seafood, and just increasing my fruits and veggies. Far as the fruits, I do want to get more water-based healthier fruits. Less, you know, fruits are good. It has natural sugars, packed with a lot of natural sugars, but I think some fruits have a lot more sugar than others. So I love pineapples. That's like one of my favorite fruits, but it definitely has way more sugars than maybe a watermelon, because watermelon is more water-based. So, and I'm gonna make those switches. I'm still gonna incorporate fruit, but just do stuff that's more less in sugar as opposed to not. And increasing my water intake. Yo, I'm trying to tell y'all, I literally try to do a gallon. I really try. I really push, especially if I'm like training that day. I really try to get a gallon of water, but sometimes it be hard. It's hard to track when you don't actually have a gallon container, because when you have a gallon container, you can kind of track how much you've been drinking throughout the day. And I do have a gallon bottle. However, sometimes I'll take my water bottles, my 16.9 ounces, and I have to pour like at least 7 to 8 bottles in there. And now I got all these empty bottles. So that's a little bit, you know, that gets old and tiring at times. So sometimes I just drink it straight from the water bottles and kind of try to keep track of how much I'm drinking, because 7.5 to 8 bottles is where you want to be if you want to do a gallon. So I definitely try, but sometimes it don't be working. But what I will say, when I'm at the gym, I take my own bottle. It's empty. It's not a water bottle, but it's like my own like workout bottle. And I try to drink all their water. By the time that I'm there, I try to drink all their water. Because then that's less water I have to eat at home, drink at home. So I do notice, like in my bottle, it's a little bit more than a 16.9 ounce bottle. So it's maybe like this much more water, because my bottle is about this size. So I will drink at least 3 of those. So that way I know I'm at least consuming 3 16.9 ounces, and I only got like 4 or 5 to go. So when I get home, I can then drink the bottle that I have at home. But yeah, I'll be tearing that water up. Okay, so the next thing is the things that I'm gonna cut out for this month. It will be no fast food, no cheat days, no cheat meals. We're just gonna eat clean, you know, we're gonna be disciplined. It's gonna be hard because we're getting into the summertime and everybody wanna have a cookout and invite you to this gathering and that party. So this is a time where if you ain't disciplined, you better get disciplined if you wanna get your body goals. So yeah, no fast food, of course, no junk food. It was good to eat, but not to consume on a consistent basis. No alcohol and no smoothies. And I said no smoothies because, again, that added sugar that comes in a smoothie, especially if you're buying it outside of you making it at home, they add syrup, and sometimes if they don't have that specific fruit, they'll add the juice version of it. So that's more sugar. So I kind of want to stay away from the smoothies. Even at home, I'm just going to probably not make smoothies. If I'm going to drink protein, I'm just going to drink it as it is. Or if I get the powder kind, just add water or milk to it. But other than that, no smoothies for me this month. So ultimately, that is the goals that I have for this month. I feel like I'm not getting smaller. I don't feel any difference as far as my weight when I get on the scale. It's pretty much the same. Sometimes it go down, I'm like, yay, I'm losing weight. Then other times, the next day is like back to where I was. I'm like, oh, I'm still the same. So I don't try to get too like caught up on the scale. I do just kind of look at my pictures and old pictures that I took, or just look at my overall body frame, and I definitely see a change. I feel like I'm getting more like bulk, which is not the goal. I'm not trying to get like bulky or anything, but hey, if you lifting weights, that's what's gonna happen. You're gonna gain some muscle mass, and I do want to gain some muscle mass. However, I do want to eventually cut. That's why I'm incorporating cardio. Oh, that was another thing I forgot to mention. So last month, I was working out. We started doing some HIIT, incorporating. If you looked at one of my workout videos, previous workout videos, me and my partner was working out. We were doing 5 rounds of sprinting on the treadmill, 30 seconds on, 2 minute rest. And I'm telling you, that was amazing. It was tight. Like, my poor little legs, even though my knees, I don't have the best knees, but man, doing that was a good workout. It helped your heart rate go up. It's gonna help with like your metabolism, because now it's burning even more. So just like weight training, that already burns fat, and then cardio, it's just about to get stupid. Like, oh my goodness, we're gonna see. And yeah, I just really like how my body is looking. I just don't even want to get rid of this stomach. The stomach is like not going anywhere. So hopefully with the HIIT workouts that I'm starting to incorporate, that will help strengthen me. And then of course, you know, weight training, that will develop the muscle mass that I need for certain parts of my body. So those two combined should be a great combination in our overall goals. So hopefully you guys like this video, and we will see what happens, and just continue to pray for me, because I always, when you put things out there in the atmosphere and you speak certain things, now you like, it's like challenges come to like disrupt you or to discourage you or to throw you off your game. So I just pray that I can be disciplined and really stay committed to what I said I was going to do, and hopefully, you know, it will pay off in the long run. But that is it for now on my next month fitness goals. So until next time, peace, love, and exercise. Bye.